Hey everyone, we have a special guest at the Tavern today. You've seen him in Ring of Honor, New Japan, among others. He was Ring of Honor television champion and a part of the ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Champions, the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions, the baddest man on the planet, Shane Taylor. What's up, Shane? How's it going, man?
What's going on, boss? How are you? Appreciate you guys having me. That was a hell of an intro. One small thing.
Okay.
Okay? The baddest man on the planet has and forever will be Mike Tyson. We all know this. That was a whole thing. I am the baddest of all time. That is the only distinction. But other than that, fantastic introduction. Please proceed.
Got to get those details. Got to get those details.
Right.
I saw that you and the STP crew recently went out and trained with the legendary CT Fletcher, man. Like, what was that experience like for you?
Man, it was everything you'd imagine it would be, and then some. Like, for those that don't know CT, go look him up. The dude is a former bodybuilder, former soldier, former martial artist. The guy, has cheated death I don't know how many times now, and is just still inspired millions of people just with work ethic and determination and just being himself. You know what I mean? He pushes you to the absolute limit and then some. And that vibe in that gym in the Valley of the Beast in Long Beach was incredible. It took me back to like college athletics, where you see those videos of everybody around one person doing a lift just going absolutely nuts. That's what that felt like. The energy, the intensity, the pride, the demand that not only he has from you, but that you have from yourself and you have from others and they have from you was just dope. Man, that's something that I definitely want to do again.
What's it, when you're around someone like that, like how important is it to kind of take those moments to be around people like that, just to kind of elevate yourself, your mental game? Like, what do you take from that? What are you soaking in when you're there?
That everything that we're doing is the way we should be doing it, and we're on the right path. I sat down and I was able to talk with CT off camera, let him know what I'm about, the group's about, what our message is, and he sat me down and was just like, look, you're doing shit the way it should be done. He's like, everything you stand for, everything you talk about, I'm 100% behind you. And to hear that coming from someone like him was just like, all right, like those are the things that let those nods of approval are the things that push you through all the BS that you go through when you're someone like myself and you're attempting to sort of change the way this game works, change the way this game has been operated and has gone on for all these years. When you're a voice of trying to change that, it can be difficult, and you can doubt yourself. But to hear words like that from him, kind of just give you that extra motivation to keep going.
Yeah, that validation, man, is like fuel to the fire, man.
Mm-hmm.
So with ROH Final Battle kind of in the rear view, and you've kind of had some time to process ROH closing up shop for at least the foreseeable future, how are you feeling about the way it all went down?
I mean, it is what it is. When you're someone like myself who's kind of lived a life where you have to think 3 or 4 moves ahead, see some time ahead, it's not something that you didn't foresee being a possibility, right? So it's still surprising, but it's not shocking. And it is what it is. People had time, had the opportunity to change things. They didn't. They made the choices that they made. This is the result of those choices. Unfortunately, for the talent side of it, that cost them their jobs. For others, they didn't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate, but the silver lining of all that is In Ring of Honor, you've got some of the very best talent in the world. I mean, top to bottom. And we have sort of been sharpening that iron sharpens iron mentality has been there for years. And so we've essentially just been sharpening each other for the past few years.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, once everybody starts getting out onto the independents and the rest of these promotions, the rest of these shows, you are going to see a vast difference in match quality, in skill set, in it's going to be noticeable just how much better I believe a lot of these ROH talents are than some other people. Which, you know, should mean great news for all the wrestling fans who are ready to see some incredible matches and great stories.
What do you think it is with ROH? You know, like there is that legacy where, you know, where what is in the water there for you guys? Because it seems like all of you guys feed off of each other, you elevate each other, and that iron sharpens iron mentality. You don't see that everywhere. So what was it about that locker room that really made you guys kind of always rise to the occasion?
Passion, man. It's knowing and carrying that legacy that you just talked about. Knowing those who came before you, the Danielsons, the Joes, the Punks, the McGinnises, you know, the Homicides, the Low Keys, they bled for that place. They did everything for that place. Forever changed their careers, I'm sure, shortened their careers there, I'm sure. When you walk through those doors, you know, you step into that, and you had better be ready to uphold your end of that deal. Guys like the Briscoes, you can't show up and give absolutely less than your 100% if you're in there with the Briscoes, if you're in a locker room with the Briscoes. Are you kidding me? That would be disrespectful to them. You don't disrespect the Briscoes. You know what I'm saying? And that sort of energy is what we all carried. And you do that for not only yourself, but for the legacy for guys like that. You know, they are locker room leaders. They're team captains for a reason, you know, and it's because they inspire people to play for them, right? To go out there and bust their ass. As much as I'm a Cleveland guy and I hate the Steelers, Mike Tomlin has a great quote that says the standard is the standard, right? And that's what that means. It's like, no, bro, like this is what we do here. If you can't do that, that's fine. Not everybody can. This is not the place for you, though.
Right.
But if you can, let's go to work.
Yeah, I love that. So outside of your brothers in arms, you know, on the roster in the locker room, what's one thing that's special to you about your time at ROH?
When I got to ROH, there was a lot of black talent there, but the stigma was that black talent couldn't be elevated there. They would just be there. And there was no way that anybody was ever going to reach the top of the mountain other than Jay Lethal. This is what the stigma was. I had been told numerous times, don't sign there. You're never going to get a chance. People who wanted to sign there didn't because they felt the same way. People left believing the same thing. And my question to everybody when we had these talks was, if nobody's here, how do you change it?
Right.
If no one's here to fight this, if no one's here to fight for this change, it never changes. And so I made that my mission. I made that my goal was to be the change that I wanted to see in ROH and try my best to erase that stigma. I believe I've made progress in changing the culture a bit when it comes to not only seeing the Black History Month stuff, but the roundtable discussions about social issues and police brutality, to trying to educate fans, bosses, COOs, whoever, about what the culture is and how we can progress and how we can sort of market and include every fan in professional wrestling. Because a lot of times I feel like we only market to a select group of people, and other people kind of get left out. that includes not just having people that look like them on TV, but having characters that they can relate to, telling stories that they can relate to, and really dealing with those things that, you know, everyday people go through. I believe with the creation of STP, we were able to do that. I know a lot of people love to kind of lump us in as this new nation of domination because it's easy, but in my opinion, it's kind of the lazy route. I would more closely refer to us as probably the wrestling version of Rage Against the Machine, if anything.
That's awesome.
And for us, you know, we wanted to change not only the way things are done in Ring of Honor, but the way things are done in all of professional wrestling, to be able to change the stereotypes, to be able to show that, you know, Black men, and not just the quiet, subdued, you know, head down, reaching out. Thank you ever so much for your benevolence, Black men, but proud, strong Black men and women can be the faces of companies, and still be just as marketable, just as impressive, just as much character depth, just as creative, and run the whole spectrum that our counterparts can run. I believe we were able to achieve that, bring back, you know, trios wrestling here in the States, and really make that something of interest. And so, yeah, so hats off to myself, to my guys, Khan, Moses, Ron Hunt, O'Shea, Edwards, for really just sticking through it and fighting through all the BS, because there was a lot of it.
Absolutely, man. You guys have really been putting in the big work there. And, you know, like you talk about erasing that stigma, and, you know, wrestling has made strides in recent years in relation to it, inclusivity and giving more platforms to people of all walks of life. But what is something that the pro wrestling community, not even just the wrestlers, but the fans, everyone in the community of pro wrestling, what's one thing that they can do to help further that agenda and create even more opportunities for those that may have been, that are maybe held back or overlooked?
Two things. You can educate yourself on the culture. It doesn't matter which culture it is. If that's LGBTQ culture or Black culture, Hispanic culture, whatever it is, you literally have all the information in the world in your hands 90% of the time, right? So It's not that you can't, it's that most people won't, because it's easy, right? It's easy to be lazy. It's easy to be ignorant. Searching for these things and understanding what you're watching takes work. So educating yourselves is one. And I tell people this all the time. Social media buzz is great. Social media buzz, though, doesn't translate into butts in seats. So you have to go to the shows. You have to cheer your ass off. You have to buy the merchandise. Yeah. A lot of these companies, all of the retweets, fantastic, great, good for the marketing people. The wrestlers themselves, if you're not buying that merch, they don't care. They will ride the wave of what's popular, and as soon as they feel it's the best business decision to stop riding that wave, that is exactly what they're going to do, unless they see a monetary reason not to.
Right.
It is easy to have, you know, a bunch of wrestlers in this group, and as soon as this celebration month is over, okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that, capitalize on this, get that cash, get that exposure, get that love, and then, all right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because most people aren't thinking about the optics of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. You get all the credit, but then no one goes, wait a minute. You didn't just do this for clout. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no repercussions for that, right? So, again, it's and sometimes, you know, just to be real, even selling the merch don't help. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen that with Hit Row. They were selling millions of dollars worth of merchandise, still got let go, right? So it's a crapshoot, but those would be two things that if fans are doing those, you would see that's going to give your favorite athlete, your favorite wrestler, their best chance is showing up, cheering for them, signs, and buying the merchandise, and educating yourself as to who and what they are.
Yeah,
So
that's a big thing, man.
that's a big thing. Always, you go to an indie show, it means more to that wrestler if you buy something off their merch table than that's money in your pocket, man.
Man, and let me tell you, if you're out at these shows, I know COVID's tough times, people not working, it's tough. But if you can, man, like that is how they provide the extra money to feed their kids. They're that $20 for a shirt, or that $20 for an 8x10, or whatever they're charging. Like that goes a long way to support them, and they appreciate it, I'm sure. So yeah, if you have the ability to, definitely support them at the merch table.
So I've heard you say in recent interviews, you're on the open market right now. You can go anywhere you want. And I've heard you say that when it comes to signing with a new promotion, creative freedom is more important to you than the bottom line right now. Can you speak about that mindset and what true creative freedom in your craft means to you?
Creative freedom, and I want to clear it up. Just like that doesn't mean I just get to do whatever I want, right? Because no one really some people get to do that, but I don't get to do that. If someone gave me that power, I'm either making you a lot of money or you've got angry emails to answer every day. You know what I mean?
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Probably both. You're like, yeah, I know you're mad, but look, you know what I'm saying? Like, can't be too mad. But that means allowing me to be myself, allowing me to express myself the way that I want to, the way that I feel as though has worked, and working with me on collaborative ideas, not just trying to force me into a box because that's what you interpret me as, right? It'd be no different if, say, you had an all-star quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers go to a team, right? He leaves the Packers, go to this new team. Aaron Rodgers is not going to stop being Aaron Rodgers, right? He's done this X amount of time. This is who he is. But you can take what he does, go, all right, this is what we do that fits what you do in our system. We've got you there. Now, here's this other stuff that we want to implement, though, that we think best works with your play style. So let's try to make this work. We'll edit, and we'll do this and this and this and work together to build the best team possible. That's what I mean. Some places you don't have that luxury. In Ring of Honor, we did. And I believe when you have that amount of freedom, true talent shines out, and you're able to then create something that is organic and which is real. And that's what STP is. And we've been able to do that, with the talent we've been able to work with and the strength of the people. Even I say it, and it was always something that I used to motivate myself in the team. But anytime you saw those pay-per-view hype videos, right, you would see us sometimes, but a lot of it would be the Foundation, Violence Unlimited, La Facción Ingobernable, OGK, and many more. And it's like, motherfucker. Like, every time it's like, okay, if you keep and many moreing us, you are only going to make those chips on our shoulders bigger. We are only going to get louder. We are only going to get better. We are only going to keep trying to make you look dumber every single time we go out there.
Yep.
And that's how I operate. That's how the whole crew rolls. So stuff like that, because we weren't getting the marketing budgets and the hands-on, we're going to make sure people know who you are treatment. All of this, the support that we've gotten is truly us and the people. That's why they rock with us so hard. That's why when we came back, to Baltimore the first time. They went absolutely nuts. They went nuts again. They went nuts in Philly. They went nuts again this at Final Battle. You know what I mean? You know, one of the loudest cheers of one of the loudest things of the night was them chanting STP at the end of me and Kenny King's match. You know, so that's what I mean by creative freedom. That's why that's more important to me than anything, because you can give somebody a whole lot of cash and they do nothing. But if there's no passion there, there's no vested interest in what this is, it's not going to work. So you give me that, we can make as much money as possible together. That'll take care of itself.
Yeah, I love that mentality, because when you bet on yourself like that and you're authentic like that, the money typically comes. You know what I mean? Like people buy into that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when we had O'Shea on, he said the same thing. He said the same
Yep.
thing about you guys, you know, getting out there and getting that paycheck, man.
Yeah. So when you look at the landscape and all the many factions in other promotions,
Mm-hmm.
what do you feel sets Shane Taylor Promotions apart from the super clicks and the bloodlines of the world?
I think people are able to look at us and understand that we've gone through the same things that they've gone through, right? This is what I mean by that. With us, and like just say the bloodline, for example, there was no family in, right? There's no safety net. If we mess up anything in life, fail in anything in life, try to achieve another goal in life and fail, right? It's not, wrestling is not our fallback plan, right? This is who we are. This is what our passion was from day one, right? And this is not to take away the hard work and dedication of anybody, right? I'm just, this is what it is. And so people can understand and can relate to guys who had nothing, who've then tried to take everything because they feel as though they worked for it and they deserve it. And as far as anybody else, we are not the, let's click up together super team, right? That's not who we are. We're not the guys, we're not the quarterbacks of the team. You know what I mean? We're not the guys getting all the glory and all that stuff. That's for the pretty boys there. We're the guys
in the trenches.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? We're the guys making it happen. One of the lines that I use is, in today's world, guys like that, right, are 3-pointers and dunks. They're flashy, great. But if you have an off night or an off series, you lose. Us, we are I formation. Run the ball 4 yards a carry. It is not going to be pretty, but it's going to be effective. We are going to win this fucking game. You know what I'm saying? That is who we are. And I think that blue collar, nose to the grindstone, hard edge style is what people love about us. We talk shit. We punch people in the mouth. And if you don't like it, do something about it. If not, you shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to keep talking.
Yeah. So, WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact, NWA, MLW, there's a lot of places STP could wreak serious havoc on, and a lot of dream matches within each of those promotions. Are there any specific wrestlers or promotions that you and your fellas look at and you salivate at the potential stories that you could tell with them?
Man, everybody's in the food chain at this point. Everybody. Yep. If we're going down the list, right? MLW, the first person that comes to mind is Jacob Fatu.
Oh.
To have a guy like that, who again is just doing his thing, is just as real as he is. He doesn't pull, you know what I mean? Like that's just him, and know that we're both going to stand there, go toe to toe, and just swing until somebody drops. You know what I mean? To me, that's that heavyweight prize fight, excitement that people look for. Like this isn't a go the distance fight. You know what I mean? Someone is going to sleep. You don't know who's going to sleep, but someone's going. You know what I mean? And that's that edge of the seat, sort of vibe that I like to create. That intensity right there. Of course, you have the MLW World Champion in Hammerstone. I've made no bones about it that I feel as though 2022 I can carry any company. So every world champion is a target. From Hammerstone, you go over to the NWA. Well, first, before we do that, MLW with the tag team division as well. You've got Danny Limelight. I want to say Slice Boogie with Conan, the new LAX 5150. They talk a lot of trash too. That's right up our alley. We love that. Bring all that energy. You got matches like O'Shea versus Alex Kane, who is the open weight champion, I believe. Who better to go out there and knock him out than O'Shea, right? We match up well with any company, any division, any tag team that you want to name. As far as world champions go, you look at a Trevor Murdoch, right? The NWA now is, trying to be new, which I get, but seems to me very much still the 80s version of itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I love Nick Aldis, right? He's a fantastic performer. Great champion. But you look like you're trying to be somebody else, some other era of champion. That's not going to lead the NWA into the new era. The NWA needs a new face of that company. Who better to be the new face of the NWA than Shane T and Shane Taylor Promotions, right? So Trevor Murdoch, I realize he's the champion right now. Fantastic. Again, this isn't the 70s. This isn't the 80s. This is our era of professional wrestling. So, if I would decide to walk in there and take that, that's what that is. And I become only the second person ever to be recognized that's been a black male to be the NWA world champion other than Ron Killings. You're already making history. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of places too, like I'd be the first African-American champion at MLW too, unless I'm wrong. But I want to say I'm right. You switch over to Impact. They've had several black champions. Moose is one now. Calls himself the wrestling god. I ask all the time, just like Kanye said, what's a god to a non-believer? You see what I'm saying? Like I don't believe it, bro. I don't believe it. Not doubting his skill, because he's an incredible athlete, right? You don't make it to the NFL and not be one, right? But I question his heart. He's not used to people putting him through the kind of beating that he would take against me, right? That's a thing that, there's not a lot of people that are willing to stand up to that. I don't know if he can handle it. This isn't, Josh Alexander after he's had a match and he's not expecting it. You know what I'm saying? This is me standing toe to your face, telling you I'm about to knock your teeth out. And then you look over at New Japan. They've got a quandary now between Shingo Takagi and Will Ospreay, who's the real IWGP World Champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, right? And then you have Okada too, who's saying, "Hey, I'm still the man," right? And kudos to him. But no, I stand up to all three of them and say, I don't care who you are, I don't care what country it's in. I'll punch you in the mouth too, knock you out, and take that too. So, and then I would be the first. No, wrong. Second, Bob Sapp, the second African American IWGP World Champion, and the first since early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course, there's AEW. And I don't think, and this is just me, if I'm gonna go that route, I'm not someone that wants to, be in the dark. You know what I mean? I want to stand there. I want the red light. I want the biggest stage. I want the best competition. I want your golden boys that you're protecting and you're hyping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not coming there to fight anybody less than that. And I'm not coming there, to do anything less than put them on their ass day one. And I look at a place like that, right? And you can see sort of, I'm anxious to see what happens between the super clique and the elite and this undisputed sort of thing. There's a lot of cooks in that kitchen. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But you're looking at, two small armies, right? And no one really to combat them, you're right? Because other groups are kind of worried about other groups. Imagine myself, Khan, Moses, Ron Hunt, O'Shea. You get a guy like Lee Moriarty to handle the pure wrestling aspect of this. Potentially a Keith Lee, potentially a Kenny King. You know what I mean? Potentially a Darius Lockhart. And now you've got an army to fight an army. The only difference is whether it's the wrestling ring or the street. My army wins.
Man, you're getting me hyped right now.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah, you're getting me hyped.
It's all out there, man. It's all out there. The problem is with wrestling, there's too many, and this is no disrespect to anybody who's, in this occupation, but this is the only sport in which the theater kids get to be the stars, as opposed to if this was the NBA or the NFL, right? So people are very protective, like, oh no, this is my time to shine. If I let someone like this in, they're gonna. People are scared. You know what I mean? And they should be. They should be. Because the moment I walk in there, you had X amount of time to secure your spot.
Right.
I haven't been there they're going on close to 2 years now, right? As a company, right? Something along those lines. You've had this amount of time to secure that spot. The second I walk through the door, I'm coming for everybody's spot, right? So I would be scared if I was them, and, there's, WWE is not off the table. I have a lot of friends there who work there. I think with the way they're trying to have a shift towards younger talent, me about to turn 36 tomorrow, that's probably not the destination. But there's some matches there too that I would love to have. Myself versus Big E, I think would be great. Me versus Brock. Like, I would love to do all those, you know what I mean? Because I love the intensity of what that could bring. And because he's my guy, I would love to do me and Eric of the Viking Raiders on that platform. 2 kids from Cleveland, my best friend, godfather to my daughters, the guy who helped train me, the reason we're having this discussion right now. To fight him on that stage would be just a culmination of everything, the last 14 years. But really, probably the last 20 plus that I've known him. That would be dope too. Oh, and also, sorry, for New Japan, anytime Tomohiro Ishii and or Minoru Suzuki want to get punched in the mouth, they can come see me too.
Yeah. So, I mean, you get me hyped, dude.
Like all this. Oh man, I want to see all of it right now.
And we haven't even mentioned SOS against the Bucks, SOS against FTR, SOS
Right.
against potentially the Briscoes, SOS against potentially the Mexibros,
Santana Ortiz.
Santana and Ortiz, proud and powerful. You're talking about stories for the next 10 years easily.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we love realness in our wrestling and
Mhm.
edge, heart, guts. And you guys, you really embody all of that. So how important is it for you to bring that reality in your promos and your stories? And do you feel it's lacking in mainstream pro wrestling today?
I don't feel it's lacking because you can see the passion there. I think the problem with mainstream pro wrestling is that it's mainstream pro wrestling, so that you, by definition, you have to relieve yourself of certain things in order for the greater profitability of the company, right? So you have to lose that edge because you've got sponsors now, you've got shareholders now, you've got all of these other things now. You've got a lot of people who would be nervous or upset about certain things being said. They're going to go to social media and they're going to complain. So it's a very, very fine line on where to push, where to draw back, where to do all these things. I feel as though if you let a lot of these talents go and just do what they want, say what they want, obviously not, swearing as much as possible, but you're going to create this buzz and this sort of that real sort of feeling. For me personally, having two great wrestlers have a match is cool. That's great. So what?
Right.
You know what I mean? This sport is filled with great wrestlers. Why do I care you're fighting? Why? I don't care. Why do I care? For me, I love matches that bring that out of me, whether it's my opponent, whether it's the stipulation, whether it's the prize that we're fighting for. I love that intensity. I love getting inside my opponent's head. I love it being personal because I'm going to get your very best. There is not a person alive that when someone pisses you off, they really get under your skin and you get ready to fight, that you are not going to absolutely try to knock their block off. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that from you, because when you're laying there and they wake you up, you're going to know you gave me your best shot and you failed. You're going to know I was a better wrestler than you, a better fighter than you, a better man than you. And then you're going to have to take that back to the drawing board and deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Imposing your will on your opponent, and asserting that dominance on this stage. That's what that is, man. That's why people love the fight game.
Yeah, those big fight feels, man. When there's grudge matches and shit's on the line, like that's the stuff we live for.
I love it. That's the best part of it, man.
That's real quick. That is what I wanted to make. Like when people talk about that title run, the TV title run, that's what I wanted to make every fight feel like. I didn't care whether they announced my match or not, whether they promoted the match or not. You knew when you watched me step into that ring with that title, it was going to be the best fight of the night. You see what I'm saying? Not maybe the best technical wrestling match, the best pure wrestling match, but the best fight of the night. That's what you were going to go home talking about. And those are the kind of matches that I want to have.
Absolutely, man. So if someone completely oblivious to the world of pro wrestling asks you what makes it fucking awesome to you, what stirs your love of it and your desire to put your body on the line, tell these stories, blood, sweat, and tears, what would you tell someone who had no clue of what the pro wrestling world was all about to get them interested?
You are looking at a world where you could literally be anything you want to be. People tell you that in this world. And while I agree with the sentiment, with the notion, with the ideology that it's possible, there is a lot of bullshit that stands in your way in the real world. Now, there's a lot of bullshit that stands in your way in professional wrestling too, but you have much more of a chance to be anything that you want to be. You, at least for me, I get to be the leader and the hero that I wanted to see growing up on TV, right? There was a lot of people that just didn't click for me when I was watching them on my television screen because I didn't know anybody that did that. I didn't know anybody that walked like that, talked like that, did those mannerisms, behaved in those stereotypes. It's just not what I knew. No one that really stopped to question why you only show the negative things about our culture, why you only show these things, why the positives are never mentioned. Like, those aren't things. When you talk about wrestling, you've got guys who were very successful, won championships, and then sort of closed that door behind them, right? And as long as they got theirs, they were good. I get to be that leader. I get to be the one to educate people. I get to be the one that shows you that there's more to this culture than, the 0.01% of the hyper-criminalized, hyper-sexualized part of it that people want to, that they want to exploit for money, right? There is more to this culture than that. And I get to be the leader that shows you that myself and people like me can continue to be marketable, continue to lead companies, and do so with every bit of talent, every bit of charisma, every bit of depth, and scale the whole spectrum, just like our counterparts. You get to be the hero that you wanted to have. That's the greatest thing about this sport, is you get to do it all. You can be anything and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like you get to be the guy that you didn't have growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get to be that guy for someone, for a new fan. It's like,
absolutely.
He's like me. You look at the screen, you don't see someone like you. It's like you get to be that guy for somebody. That's a powerful moment,
man. And that's something that I take so seriously, because you have so much of it in the world already. You have so much negative. Every time you turn on the TV, you're seeing something crazy. You're seeing some violence, or you're seeing this. You're seeing what people are telling you your goals should be. It's all just one big circle of bullshit. You know what I mean? They don't really tell you what's out there. They're not really teaching you how to plan, how to build, how to set yourself up to succeed. It's all just follow the leader bullshit. And being a fan of boxing my whole life, I've been able to see people exceed their expectations and turn themselves into icons, right? And seeing those same qualities, those same ideologies in myself, that's who and what I am. That's who and what Shane Taylor is a collaboration of three of my favorite boxers, which is Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and Muhammad Ali, right? Yeah. The thing that I say and what I try to do and who Shane Taylor is talk like Floyd, hit like Tyson, lead like Ali. That is who I am. That is what I try to do. And that's why I think this movement that we have has been the response has been the way it has been, because this is what people have been asking for 50 plus years now.
That I love that.
I mean, so outside of wrestling, like, what's some of your passions and hobbies that have nothing to do with wrestling? Like, when you're away from wrestling, like, what's some of the shit that you like to just
kick back? Yeah, relax.
I'm a huge gamer, man. I'm a huge gamer. Love to trash talk. Get on there. You know what I mean? Like, and see, for me, I trash talk all the time, win or lose. That's just who I am. That's just who I am as a person, right? I'm antagonistic by nature. I'm going to poke you. I'm going to see if I can get in your head. If I can, God help you, because it's over for you. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to talk trash. You're going to start getting frustrated. You're going to start losing. And then I am going to beat the brakes off of you and talk the whole time. Right. I've actually had to stop playing games with wrestling friends of mine because it was just going to ruin the relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just like, nah, man, if we're going to be friends, we can't play these games together and everything will be fine.
I'm going to hurt you. I'm gonna hurt your feelings. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, I mean, it's like, plus I'm pretty good at most of the games that I play, so it's already tough. And I tell people I'm a fast learner. So if we play a game and it's my first time playing and you barely win, it's the last time you're gonna beat me. It's the last time. It will not happen again, and I'm gonna be talking shit the entire time. You know what I mean? So that's what I do, man. And a lot of the people that get on these. A lot of people that get on these games, especially like a Call of Duty, series or a 2K series for basketball, are some of the most toxic people I've ever met in life. So for me, it's enjoyable to talk trash because not only do I get to put you in your place, but I get to blow you up. You know what I'm saying? Or dunk on you, or shoot a 3 in your eye. You know what I'm saying? Or snipe you out the air. Yeah, bro, it's over for you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna sit here and go.
So Chris Rock had a movie a couple years back that I love called Top 5, where, they give their top 5 artists. It was like a recurring thing. That's the big question. Who's your top 5? So if you got a CD player or only 5 selections on your phone for your Spotify playlist, what's 5 artists that you have to have?
Damn. Okay. That's tough because a lot of older stuff that I like, I don't necessarily just listen to listen to it. Like, usually when I'm listening to music, there's a purpose behind it. Either I'm getting ready for the gym or getting ready to get hyped up for a match. R&B. I mean, and we all know why that is. So let me think about that. Hold on. Okay. Number 1, DMX. Nice. Hands down, one of my favorites, in my opinion, the GOAT. Well, top 3 GOATs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There would be Russ, and if you're not familiar with Russ, he's a Sicilian rapper from Atlanta. Is absolutely crushing it. Very much independent. Put out like 11 albums by himself. Writes, produces, mixes, edits. Wow. Does everything himself. Like, it's incredible what he's done. Built businesses and brought his whole team with him. Doesn't have like opening acts. It's just him and his fans, and it's truly incredible to see what he's done. Just off the strength of his own, balls and hard work. You know what I mean? And just that belief to go out there and do that. So he's another one. That's someone that I listen to a lot. So you got DMX, you got Russ, Jay-Z for obvious reasons. Not only his old stuff, but as how he's grown as a man, as a business person, as a father, husband. I always say that Jay-Z is wasted on the young because they're listening to it, but they're not. Their life experience hasn't caught up with them to understand it.
Yeah,
truly understand it. And as a 35-year-old man, it's like, ooh, I felt that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That
Reasonable
line right
Doubt.
there.
Reasonable Doubt's one of my all-time favorites, man.
Reasonable Doubt is good, right? Now take that and then move it forward and then listen to what he's saying on 444, right? And you're like, that's a different human being. You know what I'm saying?
The Black Album, man. I thought the Black Album was great.
The Black Album was great, right? But again, it's you're supposed to evolve with time.
Yeah.
You're like, if you're saying the same shit at 30 that you're saying at 50, you wasted 20 years.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And there's
you should be saying.
There's a line that kind of encompasses all that is, I don't wear jeans, I'm 30 plus.
Right. I don't wear jeans. Some and now it's button ups. You know what I mean? Like, yes,
give me a crisp pair of jeans and a button up.
A button up, right? It's like no, man. I'm not I'm not wearing the jerseys no more. I'm not wearing the throwbacks no more.
Yep.
This is what this is, right?
Yeah.
So we've got DMX, Russ, Jay-Z. Boom, 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 boom. We will go. I got to put an R&B guy in there because I do actually listen to a lot of R&B. Now I'm trying to think of those that like aren't going to be like, why did you like him? He did this. I'll be like, I don't know. Damn. You know who I like? Who was with Young Money for a while is Lloyd.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to a lot of Lloyd. I don't know. I thought there was a kid crying there for a second. And finally, we'll probably round it out with Hobson. And I know there's a lot of other people too, but there's a lot of Hobson stuff that when you really listen to what he's saying, is just like, yo, fuck the bullshit, man. Like,
yeah.
It is you're the only one out here. No one's coming to save you. Do this shit yourself. Go, you know what I mean? Go wreck the world. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
And just not giving a damn about the consequence, you know. So those are probably my 5 if I had to go to that I'd be able to listen to every day and not have a care in the world.
I love it, man. I love it. Just a few more questions. We'll let you get out of here, man. You've kind of like had matches against some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm real interested. Like, is there any particular opponents or matches from your past that really pushed you to your limit and you look back on that match and like, damn, I learned something about myself that day, and you still carry those lessons with you to this day?
Yeah. Someone is crying. They don't listen to my wife. she's too friendly, man. You know what I mean? You got to come in, boom, shut it down. So yes, again, my matches with Eric, aka Raymond Rowe, every time we stepped into a ring, there was that same sort of feeling like I talked about with the Briscoes, right? Like if you're stepping in there, you don't want to bring your A game. You want to bring your A+ extra credit game. You know what I mean? Because they demand it from you, so did he, and you wanted to bring that for them and for him. So any matches that we've had, I've learned about myself because he's very much a goer. You know what I mean? And he will test you. If you're not ready, he will eat you alive. So you have to be ready to answer that bell. My matches with Jay Briscoe, with the Briscoes, both of them, but specifically the match at Final Battle, to be able to be at that point in my career, beyond probably the biggest role of my career in that company, to date, to go against a Jay Briscoe with the history that he's had, and beat him at Final Battle, and to stand across the ring from both the Briscoes, shake their hand, and have them say, yeah, we see it. You know, Shane Taylor is the real deal. Yeah. Who they've seen them all come and go, every single one of them. And so to have that validation, like we talked about earlier, that meant the world to me. And that let me know, okay, if I can go out there and perform like this with Jay Briscoe, I can go out there and perform like this with anybody. The matches with Jeff Cobb, that was my first pay-per-view. There was a lot of hype from the first match that we had in Philly. So that level of, at that point, I was talking a lot of trash, which I do all the time, but people were kind of just like, you know what? Fine. We'll see what he does. You know what I mean? Pay-per-view match. My first one after being there for like 4 years, right? And I was nervous. Like, oh, okay, I put myself in this spot now, right? I've talked to myself in the building. Can you do it again? Can you do back-to-back performances? Can you be that consistent guy? and to be able to go out there with a guy like Jeff Cobb, who's one of the absolute best, and do it again, gave me the confidence to go, you know what? I am this motherfucker. I am this dude. I can do it this time. I can do it, at the second time. I can do it every time, and ever since then, I've carried that. And that's why I'm able to, to that whole TV title run was inspired by that feeling to go, I don't give a damn who it is. Give me a trainee from the dojo. We'll have the best fight of the night. Give me this guy. We'll have the best fight. It doesn't matter who you give me. You damn sure aren't bringing in the international stars like you did for other TV champions. That's fine. You're not putting the match up in lights like you did for other TV champions. That's fine. I'm still about to go out here and absolutely put on the best show that you've ever seen. And for me, that will, that desire, that determination, that ability to go out there and just absolutely impose your will and do what you want to do, make those things happen. To me, that's what being the baddest is. Being the greatest is subjective to opinion, right? But you can't question somebody's will. You can't question the result. You can't question the determination. That's not up for opinion. That's fact. So when I walk in and I say I'm the baddest of all time, that doesn't mean I'm the best. It doesn't mean I'm the biggest or the strongest. It means I'm willing to go further than you are. Yeah. It means I'm willing to do more. I am willing to sit here and go to places you are too scared to go to win this fight. And if you are not ready to go there with me, if you're not ready to prepare like I do outside of this, if you're looking me in my eyes and you're not ready to handle me on a microphone, if you're not ready for that, step the fuck out my way. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to run you over. So that's, to me, that's what that signifies. That's what that is. That's why I love that moniker. I am willing to do and go where other people are not.
So second to last question, put the wrestling world, I mean, you kind of already have, to be honest, but put the wrestling world on notice. What's next for Shane Taylor and Shane Taylor Promotions?
The immediate thing is, you've got, what has my attention right now is the fact that you've got 2 Ring of Honor champions. In reality, I've beaten them both in singles competition. I've beaten them both in tag team competition. What's to stop me from saying I'm world champion? What's to stop me from saying that I should be the guy that everybody's trying to fight? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what's to stop me then from saying, you know what? Maybe I should create since we're bringing out championships, I should create one myself, and I'm the guy. I'm the guy that people should be fighting. I'm the guy that people should be trying to face, because I'm the one that's out here, whooping everybody's ass. You know what I mean? So that catches my eye. But then again, I look at the landscape of recognized world champions, and there is only so long y'all are going to be able to hide, man. They can't hide you overseas. They can't hide you, behind EVPs or anybody else. They're not going to be able to protect you, out here in the wild now. Over there, when we were all kind of secluded and away, people had time to feel safe. There is none of that anymore, so if you've got a world championship and I show up, don't expect a hello, don't expect a handshake, don't expect anything other than me punching you in the mouth and taking your shit, because that's what I came there for.
Hell yeah. Oh man, I'm so pumped. So final question, man. The pandemic's over, you're making towns, you are in a car, and you can have any 3 wrestlers with you, alive or dead.
And let's go ahead and make it a van and throw all of STP in there. What 3 guys is STP taking on the road with them?
Keith Lee, Ray Rowe, Kenny King. Not even close.
No, I love answers like that. That's not even close, man.
Yeah.
It's not even close. It's not even close. It is going to be a van where you are going to have to be extremely quick-witted because people are going to be talking cash shit. And everyone that I just mentioned is ready to take it and dish it out and give it. And I just feel like it'd be a hell of a trip, man. That's going to be one that's going to be remembered. Might get into some fights. You never know. With that level of energy that we're carrying. But then again, if we all roll in one big group, chances are you're probably not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like you'll probably be smarter that evening.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Well, man, like let the listeners know, for anyone who doesn't, where can they find you on social media? All that good stuff.
At Shane216 Taylor on Twitter and Instagram. I know the holidays just passed, but like we said, the best way to support your favorite wrestlers is continue to buy the merch, help them move those numbers, because that's what people care about. So all of the links to the merchandise stores for what a maneuver is located there in all the bios. So go ahead and cop you some, get you some of that. We got t-shirts all the way down to baby onesies. So something for everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, be on the lookout for our video, our collaboration with CT Fletcher about our workout. That should be out, I want to say this weekend, probably by, I think, noon on Saturday. So be ready for that. And then, just keep your eyes peeled, man. Watch the social medias, because if we're going to show up someplace, you're probably not going to see it coming, but you'll definitely want to make sure that you're there.
Well, man, I think you got me and Sneed hyped beyond belief. I can't wait to see where you and STP land. I think you guys are the next big thing in pro wrestling, and you're going to blow it out of the water, man.
Yes, sir. That's the plan.
And thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Have a good night.
You too.